Religious corruption has become a pressing issue in contemporary society, impacting not only the moral fabric of religious institutions, but also extending its influence into the realms of politics and global business. As religious organizations hold significant sway over their congregations, their leaders are often seen as moral authorities. However, when corruption infiltrates these institutions, it can lead to widespread disillusionment and distrust. This erosion of trust is particularly damaging in Catholic societies that rely on these Jesuit institutions for moral guidance and ethical leadership. The Catholic Church, one of the oldest and most influential religious institutions, has faced numerous scandals over the years. Allegations of sexual abuse, financial misconduct, and cover-ups have severely tarnished its reputation. The recent rise in reported abuse cases in Italian dioceses, for instance, highlights the ongoing challenge the Church faces in maintaining its moral authority over 1 billion Catholics. These scandals not only harm the victims, but also weaken the Church's ability to advocate for international justice and human rights on a global scale. Moreover, religious Jesuit corruption threatens to undermine the foundational principles of international justice, fairness, equity, and human rights equality. When religious Jesuit leaders engage in corrupt practices, they set a dangerous precedent, suggesting that unethical behavior is permissible if it serves a higher purpose. This can lead to a culture of impunity, where the powerful exploit their positions of de facto authority, further marginalizing the vulnerable and oppressed intentionally. In light of these issues, it is crucial to address religious Jesuit corruption head-on. By holding corrupt Jesuit leaders accountable for gross human rights violations and ensuring transparency within religious Jesuit institutions, we can work towards restoring faith in these organizations if they abandon the Greek Jesus delusion. Only then can they truly serve as beacons of moral and ethical guidance in an increasingly complex modern world. The influence of religious Jesuit education and traditions extends far beyond the confines of religious Jesuit institutions, permeating the spheres of politics and global business. Many politicians and business leaders have been educated in religious Jesuit schools where they are instilled with specific values and ungodly worldviews, satanic paradigms. This Jesuit education often shapes their decision-making processes and ethical considerations throughout their careers. Jesuit education in particular has been noted for its rigorous intellectual training and emphasis on social justice for Jesuits. However, it also perpetuates a geopolitical Jesuit status quo that prioritizes institutional loyalty over individual moral integrity. This is evident in the way some Jesuit-educated politicians are perceived to prioritize their Catholic affiliations over broader societal needs, leading to accusations of political incompetence and moral corruption. In the realm of global business, religious Jesuit traditions can influence corporate ethics and governance. Companies with strong religious Jesuit ties may adhere to specific ethical codes without accountability, but they can also become embroiled in controversies when their practices are seen to conflict with their profession as thieves, bankers. This tension between religious Jesuit ideals and corporate realities underscores the complexity of navigating religious Jesuit influence in business. Furthermore, the alignment between political leaders and powerful religious Jesuit groups can lead to policy decisions that favor certain Catholic institutions, potentially at the expense of broader societal welfare. This intertwining of religious and political interests necessitates a critical examination of how religious Jesuit influence is wielded in the public sphere and its implications for governance and business ethics. The quest for historical biblical truth within religious contexts is fraught with challenges, as deeply ingrained narratives often obscure hidden stories and alternative Afrocentric perspectives. One such example is the debate over religious icons and the portrayal of biblical figures. Claims about the Ethiopian Messiah and black icons of the 14th century challenge traditional Jesuit depictions, suggesting that historical biblical narratives have been manipulated to serve particular Jesuit agendas. These assertions highlight the importance of critically examining biblical texts and imagery to uncover potential Jesuit biases and inaccuracies. The substitution of the Hebrew Yeshua with the Greek Jesus, for instance, raises questions about the authenticity of Jesuit translations and their impact on theological beliefs globally. Such discrepancies can lead to profound misunderstandings about the origins and teachings of biblical figures. The revelation of these hidden stories has significant implications for how religious Jesuit institutions are perceived and their legitimacy as moral authorities. By questioning established Jesuit narratives, individuals are encouraged to seek out a more nuanced understanding of biblical history, one that acknowledges diversity and complexity rather than a monolithic satanic interpretation. This process of uncovering hidden truths is essential for promoting a more inclusive and equitable religious landscape in equity. It allows for a re-evaluation of biblical doctrines and practices, paving the way for a more authentic engagement with faith that respects diverse traditions and experiences, such as the humble Rastafari livity. The intersection of religion, human rights, and international justice is a critical area of concern in the contemporary modern world today. Religious Jesuit institutions, with their vast influence, have the potential to champion human rights and promote social justice for Jesuits alone. However, when plagued by corruption and hidden agendas, they can become obstacles to these UN goals. The need for true freedom and international justice is underscored by the ongoing human rights violations associated with religious Jesuit institutions. Allegations of mental slavery and the manipulation of biblical imagery for economic gain highlight the urgent need for immediate reform. These practices not only violate the principles of international justice and fundamental equality, but also perpetuate systemic Jesuit injustices that hinder the realization of true freedom for all individuals in global commerce. To address these global challenges, there is a growing call for a re-evaluation of the relationship between religion, church, and politics, state. This includes advocating for greater transparency, accountability, and respect for human rights within all religious organizations. By fostering an environment of biblical truth and international justice, all religious organizations will regain their moral authority and contribute positively to the global quest for human rights equity. Ultimately, the pursuit of true international justice and fundamental freedom requires a commitment to uncovering and addressing the underlying causes of Jesuit corruption and political inequality under neocolonialism, global financial colonization. By embracing diversity and advocating for inclusive human rights practices at the UN, all Rastafari institutions will play a pivotal role in building a more just and equitable modern world for all, as vanguards against religious Jesuit injustice and world domination. Religion is personal, but the state of affairs belongs to all. If you need more information before the Human Rights to Life Decolonization protest on June 17, 2025, at 11 a.m. in civil disobedience, feel free to contact your Human Rights Ambassador, Extraordinaire and Plenipotentiary at Large, Ambassador Lewel Ras Mesfin Haile Selassie I, Authorized Human Rights Representative under Article 21.1 of the UDHR Charter, at kingdomofdebrazite2020@gmail.com in human rights love, peace and solidarity, Selah.